So first, let me introduce myself. My full name is Ranjit Kumar Krishnan. Uh, I do play a role of administrator, developer, uh, and then I moved to architect, and with 16 plus years of experience in IT. And these are the companies I uh, was working. Accounts is India Private Limited, XR Technologies, HCL, Mysore IT, and Dell International. Right, and uh, I deliver trainings for different topics, which includes administrator, developer, consultant, end user training, which means the user uh, uh, who will use the product, right? So for them, and in addition to that, uh, the participants may from non-technical background, right? So it's kind of challenging sessions, right? So and currently I'm doing virtual trainings for Capital Info and for my leads, new students, and corporate trainings. So corporate trainings is where we go direct to the company and deliver the training. So recently I delivered training for Cognizant. Almost 1.5 years I engaged with the CTS. My last training was in Kolkata, and so my regular day-to-day activities, in our virtual trainings and corporate trainings, and also doing some consulting and architect role where I set up the team for any companies looking for setting up the new Salesforce projects team, then would help them to build the team, and and doing the interview process is my regular activities. For them, they need candidates, so I select candidate through interview process. Right, this brief about myself, and as part of this demo session, right, I just given some brief objective of the session, but we are going to see more than what I mentioned here. But these are the brief things. I mean, what we are going to concentrate. So we'll try to understand what is CRM, and we'll see an application overview of Salesforce, what exactly the Salesforce, and the course overview, and what are the two different roles in Salesforce technology, right? And key aspects of this course. It means what you will get out of this course, and we'll have a question and answer session so that you can get clarified your questions. Yeah, right. So in addition to that, we'll also see what is cloud computing services, which is not mentioned here. That's what I said. It's just a brief uh, agenda what you're going to cover today, but we'll see much more than this. So before I start with the concept, I just have a quick introduction about the company. The company started in the year 1999 in San Francisco, United States, right? So they started in the year 1999, so almost 20 years back, by co-founded by an Oracle executive, Mark Benioff. Right? It's co-founded means it's along with him four other executives all together started this small startup. Okay, so and what is the main uh, any company you start? Then what is your main service? Right, that's important. What is the service? What was the service? They provide a developed software. They provide the developed software. The software is basically is a CRM software, customer relationship management, right? It means we need to understand what is CRM, right? And that product can be accessible using internet connection, right? How we are connecting uh, through Zoom now by using internet connection. How we are connecting your email, Gmail, using internet connection browser, right? So similarly, the software provided by this company Salesforce is a is can be accessible using internet connection. So anything you access, any resource you access, any resource you get connected using internet connection can also be referred as cloud computing. The process of connecting the resources using internet connection, cloud computing is called cloud computing, right? So we'll see these two concepts and I will try to understand what are the importance of this concept. Then we'll jump into uh, to know what is Salesforce, right? So able to follow all of you? You can respond in chat window. We'll have questions at the end. If you have any questions in the middle of the session, just have a note and we can discuss at the end of the session, right? Right. We'll try to understand what is CRM. CRM is, like it's an abbreviation of customer relationship management. It is the concept. It's not specific to Salesforce. It is a generic concept, a model or strategy, right? Strategy means what? It tells you how you can manage your data, how you can manage something. So that's a strategy, it's a model which gives you the way that you can store your data, manage your data. So it's a strategy used to manage an organization interactions with customer, right? So what do you mean by interactions with customer? The phone calls, emails, meetings, and how do you interact with the customer through social medias, right? So how do you engage with the customer? Any business you take, it's all about how do you interact with the customer. So when you interact with thousands of customers, lakhs of customers, millions of customers, then it's more important how you are managing the customer data. The customer data, nothing but the name of the customer, phone calls, how do you interact with the customer, right? Emails, and each customer will have different status, right? So how do you track all those interactions history, right? And you'll have uh, you'll set up meetings with different customer and with different location and timing. So how do you manage all those meetings, invite, and all those interaction data in a system? So, right, the way how you can manage the interactions basically defined by this model called CRM, right? To put it in very simple term, uh, CRM is nothing but uh, your phone is nothing but a address, right? Address book, you remember, right? The address book where you store all the phone calls, the name and the name, phone number of the person. So it's nothing but a kind of CRM. In olden days, right? When the CRM basically started in the year 1999. This term basically coined right in the year 1999 onwards. Earlier to that, it was all about address book, right? Where you keep all the customer informations in the as address book, no other features. But after 1999, they introduced, right? Companies, organizations have introduced a term called CRM. So CRM is not just storing the customer data; we can also manage the customer data. Okay, so basically, your address book down the line developed as CRM. So CRM is nothing but it's the it's a software. You can say it's a software where you'll have tables to store all the phone calls, emails, meetings, every data about the customer, and you'll have all the features to manage those data, right? So to explain you much more detail with the real-time scenarios, let me go to the uh, let me take some scenarios for you so that you can better understand what is here. So far it's clear to all of you. Take a quick real-time scenario. Okay, so let's take a quick scenario. I have a company, so I'm the uh, right. I have a company. There is a company where I have three sales and marketing agents: John, Raj, Praveen. Right? There are some marketing agents I have, and all those marketing agents are reporting to uh, a manager prop. Right? So when you take any any organization, right? What are the day-to-day activities of sales and marketing agents? They interact with the customer. They interact with the inquiries, right? They so basically they uh, they call the uh, whoever inquired for the product, right? And they interact with the customers for their issues, and so they deal with the customer data in the sense the name, phone calls, emails, right? So these are the front desk people. You can say front desk where uh, they meet the customer face to face. So in these scenarios, right, the John keep all the customer informations in the mobile, right? So whoever customer he meet, whoever inquiries he handle, he keep all those data in his own device, mobile. And Raj is a sales agent who store all this data in his system. And Praveen is more comfortable to store all the data in notes, maybe in hard copy, right? Any diary or somewhere, he keep note all the informations in very handy notepad. So you can travel and everywhere you can take these notes and uh, you know uh, uh, store all the keep storing all that keep note all the customer names, emails, everything. So that's how each sales agents are managing their information, right? So the Bob is looking for the informations from these three sales agents. So what are the informations the Bob may require? The Bob may be interested to see how many customers the John is sold the product. So how many customers the John sold the product, and how many new inquiries the John has. So he may need the report individually, and you also like to know out of out of all these three agents, how many leads we got, means new inquiries, and how many inquiries became their customer, right? And Bob also would be more interested to know in past 6 months how much how many customers we got and which products we sold uh, effectively, and all those data is more important for Bob to decide whether the business is successfully running or it's right, are we losing the customer, or to so that Bob can plan the new strategy uh, to improve the business. So the data plays a major role, right? So the Bob needs the data periodically, every 3 months once or every day to day, and right. So and these are the important scenarios in every business, in important requirement in every business you go. Suppose the John has lost his device. The John has lost his device. Then he lost the device. Then we'll also lose the data, right? We also lose the critical data, which is nothing but your customer data, your inquiries. And if the system is no more working, we lose the data, right? So the Bob is depending on the device, not the person, right? It's depending on the person, not the process. So if the device is lost, then data is lost. If the Praveen is on vacation, for example, the Praveen is not in an office work, he is on vacation, right? By the time the Bob needs some critical data about some customer, then Bob has to reach Praveen, right? Bob is entirely depending on the data where he has to call Praveen. So now the person is not reachable, right? So these are the issues we have if data is stored in more than one devices. The data is not in one place, right? Data is stored in different devices. So in these scenarios, right, the business cannot track the customer data. The organization cannot track the customer data. We lose the data and we depend on the person. And even if you have the data, we need to consolidate. The data is in different format, right? From the mobile, from the system, from the notepad, we need to consolidate, and a lot of works you will do before you create any report. So this is where the CRM come into picture. So this is where the CRM, a kind of uh, software, will help you to store all the data in one common place, not in different devices like this. All data are going to be stored in one common place, right? So this is a process. This is a example without CRM application. You can see these are common scenarios in uh, current business, uh, the current organizations also. You might have received calls from right, for example, for a medical insurance, right? Medical insurance, you get a call from the same company from different agents multiple times, right? Because right, when the data is in different places, for example, John calling a customer for inquiry, a new person to sell his product. The person told he's not interested in the product. Again, the Raj make a call to the same person, because the data is in two different places, right? Because Raj doesn't uh, know that that customer already been uh, interacted by the John, because the data is not in one place. So you will get multiple calls, duplicate effort, right? Suppose the John is facing an issue with the customer, right? Customer raise an issue and John is, customer is uh, not satisfied with the product. Then, right? So then again the Raj made a call to the same customer for the new product. right? The customer already not interested with the product, but the Raj is making a call to the same customer because Raj doesn't know the history of this customer, right? What is it? Know the history with the customer. So because the data is not in one place. So these are all common difficulties we'll have in the process without a CRM. So how the CRM can help you to rectify all these uh, problems. So CRM is nothing but a common database. In short, you can say CRM is a common database. So CRM is where we'll have a different types of table, right? I just given a few tables here. Say I have a table to store the customer data. I have a table to store inquiries. All of you are able to follow this so far. You can respond in chat window. All are able to follow this. Okay. Right now, if you take, I have one database, right? I have one database. So where my all department of my company, right? If you take a department, we have a sales. Uh, the department will take care of marketing the product. The department will support, uh, right, the organization. So we have different types of. In general, I have just given three departments, right? We already seen some example. What are the day-to-day activities of sales and marketing? So all those, right, employees or staffs or the agents, they will all store the data in one table, right? So whatever the agents we have, they store all the customer data in a table called customer, and all the inquiries will be stored in an inquiry table, and they get to know all the product details in the product table. So there is a one common database, and we have different tables, and in the same places, all the departments of my organization will store the data. So data is not in one different places right now. Everything is in one place, right? So take for example in the scenarios what we discussed, the manager Bob, he will not depend on the person now. He will just get whatever data he need from the database, right? So the CRM is nothing but a centralized database. You can say a CRM is a centralized database. It means one common database for your whole organization, right? But I said earlier, CRM is not just the database like in your olden days. I mentioned like address book is like a CRM, right? It was a CRM basically uh, is a developed address book. You can say it's a much more developed address book. It's not just to store the data. So it has more features. It has more features to create the report, store the history of the interactions, right? Customer interactions. It means whatever the calls I made, I can store everything under the customer, but particular customer name itself. It means how many calls I have, call history. Okay, and I can set up the meeting reminders. Right, I may have different. Right, if I am the sales agent, uh, you know, uh, have different meetings with customers in different locations, then I can set up all the reminders. I can track all those reminders. I can update. So all those features are available as a package, right? As a database, and in that software, you can also see a lot of features to uh, to help you to manage the customer data. That's what the CRM definitions you can find. It, the CRM basically helps an organization to manage their interactions. Managing means what? How do you manage those data? Not just storing. How to work with the data. How to create a report. How to set up the reminders. Okay, and all those features are available in the CRM. One of the important features, we have with the CRM, basically, take an example. I have uh, a company site where I have an inquiry, uh, form. Okay. Say for example, I go to the real-time scenarios where I have a website, a company site. I go to the company site. Okay, this is a site. I have some uh, a form, right? The inquiry form. Okay, and this is a kind of a login. Your company login. I just log into the company CRM software. Okay, so this is CRM software. I log in, and I have a table to store all the inquiries details. Okay, I have a table to store all the inquiry details. Don't be much. Don't think of much complicated process here. I'm just giving you some information. So you can see here the data are sorted based on the created date. Okay, just hold on. Right, you hear me? Able to hear me? Right? Just take this is a table where I store all the inquiries details, and I have a company website where I can post the inquiries. Right? So in the company website, I'm posting the inquiries. So I just say I give some, right? Then just submit. So what will happen when you submit any inquiries in the company website? It will be automatically captured into the CRM application. So this is an example CRM application. Okay. So I just refresh this. You'll find the data is here automatically. So this is the kind of features, one of the features, important features we have in the CRM application, where whatever the inquiries we posted in the company, that will be can be automatically captured into the CRM application. So how do you implement this? So we can implement this with the help of the feature within the CRM software, right? So CRM is basically a centralized database with the features to manage those data, right? That features will help you to manage the customer interactions. You can capture the inquiries into the CRM table automatically. For that, you have to follow some certain steps to create an HTML file and just upload that file into the company site. So these are all technical activities where we are not going to do all technical activities in this step. We are just going to do it using point and click, not programming. Okay, without programming, you can do it. So anyway, so these are kind of these whatever we have seen is all about how the CRM can help an organization, how the CRM is help you to store all the data in one common place. Everyone is able to follow. It's clear to all of you. We'll move on to what is cloud computing. Clear to all of you. right? So we'll see what is cloud computing, right? In my first slide, I explained you uh, when you call a cloud computing, right? A cloud computing is nothing but accessing the resources using internet connection. So what are the different resources you can access? Resource in the sense, uh, your Gmail is a kind of resource, right? Your Gmail is a kind of resource, and your Zoom is a kind of resource. And you also come across, you can also access the machines, the virtual machines remotely, right? Machines is basically located somewhere, and you can remotely connect to the system, right? And you can also connect to uh, a system where you can develop your application, right? So there are different resources you can connect using internet connection. Like so in that case, in that sense, in general we can categorize the resource in three types. One is infrastructure as a service infrastructure, and we can say the resources can be a platform where we can develop the application, and the resources can be a pre-developed application like a software. Okay, so infrastructure in the sense nothing but a virtual machines. The machines are located somewhere. You are going to connect to the machines using internet connection, which means using cloud, right? It means using internet connection, we can connect to the system. For example, you take your AWS, Amazon Web Service, right? Amazon Web Service is basically they're providing you an infrastructure. Okay, Amazon Web Service is providing an infrastructure. Someone has a question in between? Anybody has question in between? Any urgent question you have that needs to be clarified? I will keep it at the end. Okay, so right, Amazon Web Service is basically Amazon is an organization providing uh, the infrastructure as a service. It means which means we can uh, choose the systems, the virtual machines, right? For example, I am going to start a business where I need 100 different systems. Okay, unable to hear. You need to sign off and sign in back. Ajay, 1 minute. Wait, if let me continue. So I said, suppose I'm going to start an organization where I need a different number of systems, right? I may need 100 different Windows machines, right? With the different configurations I need. Then what I will do, first I have to find a space, right? Where I can put all those, place all those machines, right? Where I need to, first I need to set up the infrastructure. So infrastructure is the first thing we need to work on whenever you uh, start your business, right? So, but I do not want to invest. I do not want to invest on the buying the machines uh, without knowing my business progress, right? Without knowing how much customer I would get and whether I would uh, uh, I can I can be successful in the business or right. So I just start my company, right? I'd like to start my company, but to start my business, right? I would need uh, some different number of systems, right? So in that case, I do not want to invest so much uh, cost to setting up the infrastructure. Right, I do not have that much space to start my business. I do not have that much investment to buy new machines then what I can do? I can go with Amazon Web Service, and where the Amazon Web Service, providing infrastructure as a service, they provide uh, a virtual machine. It means I can log into the URL, which means Amazon Web Service URL. I can choose whatever the number of machines I would need, and I can choose the configurations, storage, everything, and I'm going to pay to Amazon Web Service a rental price. It means, right, per system I am going to pay only $10 per month. So such a low price I'm just going to pay for them, right? So down the line, if my business grows, I need 100 more systems, then I can expand my I can upgrade my subscription. It's a kind of subscription model, right, where you pay whatever number of systems you are going to use. So I do not need huge investment to start to to use this infrastructure. So which means what? The Amazon basically managing all those machines and data center. We are going to connect remotely using internet connection. So right, so that's a kind of service is called infrastructure as a service. And you can also get resources like a development environment, which means what? Right, a company will provide you a development environment, which means you can log into the URL and you will find, you can do the programming, you can develop the you can create the tables, you can do you can develop the new application. Either the application can be developed based on tools, or else you can use programming languages. There are two ways you will find a development environment, right? You need not worry about the infrastructure. So on top of the infrastructure, a vendor, a company will provide a development environment, right? A company is, suppose I'm going to start an insurance business. I would like to develop an insurance application on my own. What I need is a development environment. So I do not want to invest, on infrastructure, right? Instead, I go with the service provider where I can get the development environment, right? In the development environment means what? The development environment can be a tool-based development environment or programming-based development environment, right? Tool-based in the sense, without programming, I can drag and drop and create my tables. I can do whatever things I need to uh, do to develop the application. I can achieve it using tools. I can also do programming also. So there are development environment can also be accessible using internet connection, which is nothing but platform as a service. Okay, and there are many cases you will also get uh, a developed application, which is nothing but software as a service. So you can say your Gmail application, Zoom, are all developed software, right? We cannot modify that. We can only access it because somebody has developed that software. So their service provider, what type of service they are providing? Software as a service. Okay. So you can say in this example, um, Google App Engine, they provide a lot of development environment, and Salesforce is also providing you a development environment. The Salesforce is also providing a development environment, which is also called Salesforce Lightning Platform. Okay, so Salesforce, I hope you are able to follow what type of service the Salesforce is providing. The Salesforce is providing a platform as a service. A platform as a service, right? So it means they provide a development environment. You can say platform as a service, nothing but a development environment. What type of environment? What you will have in that environment? You will have a tools, right? Without doing any programming, you can work with the application. Okay, and you will also find a programming features also, where you can do the program and execute all those things, right? Where the programs will be executed, it will be executed remote database, right? It will be stored in the remote database. We are not going to store anything in our system, right? Because it's a cloud computing service. Everything is going to be accessible using internet connection. Okay, right? So in the case of uh, non-cloud computing. What will happen? Take your system, right, which is not stored. Your hard disk, everything is in your system, right? So what will happen if no power supply? You cannot log into your system. What will happen if your OS is your operating system is uh, a malfunction? It's not working. Then you cannot access the anything in the system, right? Right. So every system you take, we have three layers in the system, right? One is a infrastructure. It means your device, your machines, and on top of it, your OS and everything comes under platform. And anything you developed, any application you develop, that application comes under software, right? So if any of these layers are not working, then other layers are not accessible. That is a common issue we have uh, in the anything, everything is there in your system, which is called on-premise. We can say on-premise model, and we have cloud model. In the case of cloud model, everything is managed by the service provider. We are not going to worry about infrastructure, right? When you access the platform, we are not going to worry about the platform or infrastructure when you are accessing the software, right? When you access the Gmail, whether anytime you worry uh, right about the service, no, right? We just log into the Gmail. We are not going to work on the upgrade, or we are not going to work on connectivity, or we are not going to work on any infrastructure. We are just log into this Gmail and send the emails, right? So similarly, the cloud computing, uh, where the organization, any business can concentrate that business, right? It's all vendor will take care of all those uh, the resources, and you will pay to the vendor for as a subscription model. Got me? So you, whenever business grows, then I would upgrade my right. Initially, I can start with 5 systems. When my business grows, I can upgrade to more systems. Right. When the business down, then I can close my subscription. Right. And it's like that. The cloud computing becoming a more demanding model in the market. Right. So everywhere I can connect. That's a more important feature of the cloud. Right. Everywhere, anywhere, everywhere, any device, I can connect to the customer. We'll follow this, right? So we'll see what is Salesforce now, with this knowledge on, with this knowledge, whatever you gain, CRM and cloud computing. Salesforce is a cloud-based CRM platform. This is okay. It's just a quick definition about what is Salesforce. Okay, Salesforce is also called Salesforce CRM. Salesforce is nothing but a cloud-based CRM platform. When you say cloud-based, it means a Salesforce can be accessible using internet connection, right? When you say CRM platform, which means what? Okay, a cloud-based platform means what? It's a platform as a service. They provide a development environment. They provide a development environment. A platform as a service, in short, is called PaaS. And in that development environment, they provide a CRM type of a platform, which means what? We know what is CRM, right? A CRM will have tables, a one common database where you will find all the data, tables to store data in one common place. So, and it's the CRM platform, which means it's a it's a kind of a database where you can store all the data, and it's also a platform, right? The platform means what? You'll find a lot of tools. It's a development environment. You'll find tables, as well as you'll find a development environment where you can find two types of environment: tool based and program based. So, right, so you can also develop new application, and they also provide a pre-developed applications. Okay, some applications to mention here: service cloud and sales cloud. These are a pre-developed application. They already developed some application in that platform. You can also access those applications. You need not develop any application on your own. Okay, it's already developed, but you can also customize that application. It means I would like to add a new tables. You can add because it provides a tool to add new application. I like to develop some new interfaces. Yes, you can do because it's a development environment. The Salesforce CRM is nothing but a cloud-based, internet-based, web-based CRM platform. Okay, and it's a platform as a service. They provide development environment. You can also access a developed applications and using which you can manage the customer data, right? And customer and inquiries, right? You can manage all those data in one common place, right? Right, and you can also uh, manage the data in the sense what it will provide all the tools, whatever the features, right? Reporting features, email notifications, reminders, and you can capture the inquiries from the company website to the database directly. So all those uh, the features together is nothing but your Salesforce CRM. Is it clear to all of you? Are you able to understand what is Salesforce? Okay, so Salesforce basically provides a pre-developed CRM applications, can be a Sales Cloud and Service Cloud, and okay, which means the standard applications. Standard means what? It's already developed, and custom in the sense you can also develop an application with the help of the Salesforce features, tools, the development environment I told, right? And they also have additional things like App Exchange and many more features into it. Okay, so it's all together we can say Salesforce. And I said Salesforce basically a development environment, right? So it means it's a tool based and a program based. When you say tool based environment, which is nothing but your, which we call is admin, the admin part of the platform. Okay, the admin part of the platform is nothing but without involving any programming, you will see all the functional part, how to create a table, how to create a report, how to create set the email notifications, all those comes under admin part of the platform. And we have a development, uh, okay, you can say a developer. So basically to learn this Salesforce, we have two different uh, categories in the platform. One is admin and another is the developer. So these are two, we divide the course into two different streams. One is admin part of the course and development part of the course. So in the admin part you will learn about what are the features available without involving coding, how to create the report, how to add the users, how to export the data. Everything you will learn under admin part of the course. And the programming part, we have programming languages called Visual Force, Apex, and we also have a development programming uh, model called Lightning. Okay, so basically a course divided into two categories, admin and development. Okay, so I will talk about, I'll explain you what is Lightning. There are two types of interface we have in Salesforce. Interface means what? How do you connect to the system? Okay, we have two interfaces. One is classic and another is Lightning. And there is only one database you are going to connect. But there are two ways you can connect. Like your, you take for your Amazon, for example. Amazon, right? We have a mobile application. We have desktop uh, environment also, right? In desktop, we'll go with Amazon.in or com, and in mobile we can download the an application from the like Play Store or Google Store. So we have two different interfaces. One is basically called Classic, which is more specific to desktop environment, and we have another interface called Lightning. Okay, Lightning Experience, which can be accessible in any device. Okay, more specific, more compatible to mobile. Basically, it's a right mobile or tab you can connect, and desktop you can connect using one interface called Classic. But both interfaces will connect to the same database. So when you take admin part of the course, okay, you will learn both about classic and lightning. Okay, if you take the developer part of the course, more about the classic. The classic in the sense, classic and uh, it also cover a common the topics which are very common to both classic and lightning, right? And you'll also learn about integration. Integration in the sense how the Salesforce system can be connected with other systems. So all these are going to be the main topics. The course will have, and okay. And there is another a development framework which is called Lightning Component Framework and LWC. So this basically a separate uh, things you need to learn after once you completed with this, because there are two different development framework we have. Which cannot be combined with the Lightning framework. Okay, so in this uh, 2 months course, a month for admin, a month for development and integration. Integration maybe take additional a week more, right? So in short, we can say 2 to 2.5 month course to learn all these things whatever I explained here, and which will connect 1.5 hour a day, Monday to Friday. My time 7 a.m. IST to 8:30 a.m. IST. Okay. Once you are done with this, you are familiar with the classic framework, you can go for a separate lightning. So this is a separate course basically. This is not going to be combined. We cannot combine because we need to be first comfortable with this framework, and then we need to learn on this. Okay, catch up on this. And many of you have questions in mind how to catch up the development things here, right? So development things basically we are going to concentrate two things: Apex and Visual Force. Lightning basics development I'll touch upon, because I said it's a separate things you need to start. We cannot combine this. When you combine this, then you will not get anything at all. Just there are two different frameworks, right? So, but anyway, the basics. By the time you'll know, you'll have some idea about the classics things and other common things. Then you can have a basics idea, right? Who can learn the development? To my knowledge, the people with technical or non-technical background can catch up the programming part, right? You should have a passion to learn the programming. Programming is all about learning the syntax. Okay, it is not mandatory to have any programming knowledge priorly. It is not mandatory. If you have, then that will help you to catch the concept. That will help you to compare the things. But if you're not from technical background, of course you can start from the scratch, right? Because uh, the syllabus, what I'm going to deliver, it basically has a programming basics as well. Okay, we'll have programming basics, right? Which will spend 1 or 2 sessions to learn about the programming basics, and we'll practice more exercises for if you're not having any programming background, we'll have a lot of exercise to settle yourself on the basics so that you can continue your programming uh, path. Okay, you can continue learn your programming things with this basics knowledge. Okay, so right, I repeat, it's not mandatory you need to have a programming background to learn this development part of the course. Okay, right, and I'll also cover the JavaScript basics, which is also you know uh, mandatory. So you should have some knowledge on JavaScript. Additionally, it's not your because when you before you go for Lightning development, having knowledge on JavaScript will help you to catch the lightning framework. Okay, so all these things will be covered. And how we are going to uh, continue in the everyday day-to-day session. I'm going to share the notes and everyday recorded videos. Everyday recorded videos you will get. Okay, if you miss that classes, you will get recorded videos, and notes you will get, and exercise document you will get for your practice, and you will interact with me with this email ID, right? So you will interact with me with this email ID. So I mean, okay, keep in touch with me always. If you practice and you have any queries, so you can interact with me with this email ID. Okay, and sometimes if mandatory, you can also reach me over phone. Right, once you are registered, you'll come to know my phone numbers. You can also reach me over phone if you have any queries, right? But whatever email you drop here, you'll get response definitely. Okay, so and you'll also have a project discussion as part of this course, so where you will see uh, real-time project approach that would help you to prepare your resume. Okay, right? So project discussion will be there, and we'll have certifications uh, practice as part of this course, so that at the end of the course you'll be able to do any of the certifications, either for development or admin or developer role. So which is good to have one certifications before you try for the job. Okay, and we'll also have the trailer. It's a kind of training module provided by Salesforce. So we'll also guide you. I'll also guide you to practice all those trailheads on your own. Okay, so all those things will combine together. We'll have our course. Okay, so how we are going to learn the course? We are going to register for the free package provided by Salesforce. So where each one of you will get user ID password on your own, and you can log into the platform and you can learn the course. Okay, say for example, you can see here. So this is a kind of uh, URL you will use to log into the Salesforce platform. I already registered myself, so I got the user ID password. I log in. What type of platform Salesforce is? Salesforce is a CRM platform, right? And provides the tools to develop the application. You can see all the tools here. Suppose I like to create a table, then what I will do? I'll go to the table called Schema Builder. Okay, then I can create a table. Just drag and drop something here. Okay, give the name of the table and say the table is created. I like to add a column into the table. I drag and drop one element, length of the name. I just say. So without doing any coding, right? I created one table. So this is a part. This is just an example what you are going to concentrate in the admin part of the course. Okay, and you have an option to switch to Lightning interface also, right? So now we are in classic. Okay, Lightning interface. So these two interfaces you learn under admin part, and programming part you learn the programming things under developer course. Okay, all right. So this is what I like to convey in this session, and if you talk about the scope, okay, of course, Salesforce has very demanding scope, and in the market we have more scope for developer role compared to admin. Of course, in the Indian market we have more scope for development, and in the case of US market you may have a good scope for admin as well. Okay, so and there is no doubt you are in the right technology. You'll have more demanding, right? Your profile will be more demanding profile in the market. There are right, even the lockdown period, each one of uh, the Salesforce uh, guys are attending, a lot of interviews every week. A developer can attend, right, or facing 4 or 5 interviews a week. It means what? A lot of opportunities for Salesforce you can find. Okay, so there is no doubt on it. So you can just do a search in the job search on your own. Any job search portal, you'll find out the job opportunities. Okay, so you are in the right technology, and all you have to should have a passion to learn this technology. I am here to help you. Okay, so uh, right, always deliver the things with simple examples so that you get the things and comfortable. So that's, and I'm always keep in touch to help you all through my emails or, okay, if required, phone calls. Okay, so these are email I used to interact with the uh, students. How many months it takes? Okay, you can write. So your question session. Okay, you can ask your questions. How many months it takes for you to complete the course? Someone has asked me the question. So basically, it takes 2 to 2.5 months course. I told, right. So basically, to comfortable with the all together in the whole thing, take 3 months, for example. Okay, because it's a very logical period. You might need to uh, get hands-on the one particular technology. Okay, so right, so it's not like you just a week or 1 month you'll become a expert in that, right? So you need some time. Okay, so you'll have more scope. So when there are more scope, it means there are the this okay, it covers a lot of all different types of customers. When you're covering more different types of customers, then you'll have a lot of features to understand, so that your area of scope is becoming uh, large. Basically, you have different types of roles you can play. You can play a role of administrator, right? You can play a role of business consultant, be a role, right? And you can say a project coordinator, a developer, a senior developer. There are a lot of roles we have. Okay, so you'll have more scope when you're comfortable with the technology. So by default, it takes, yeah, to become more proficiency in the course, 3 to 4 months is required, right? It's take any technology you take, that would, maybe the course will have a 1 week course, but to become comfortable with that particular platform, logically every new technology would takes 3 to 4 months. Okay, but in Salesforce, everything is basically uh, very catchy topic. Okay, you'll feel real time, you'll implement in real time, and you'll see how it works. That way, you will. I hope it will be quite interesting to learn this technology. Okay, right? Clarified question. Can you send your email IDs in the chat window so that I'll get uh, I'll keep inform you about uh, any any updates or anything. I'll share these recorded videos, demo sessions also with you. So just right, so that capital right, we'll have email ID to interact with you further. So just send your email ID in the chat window. Tomorrow we are going to uh, start the uh, course. Okay, tomorrow is the first day. It's the introduction session, right? So tomorrow we are going to start with the uh, summarize all these, concluding. See the overview of these uh, things, and then we'll start the course tomorrow. Right, almost done. You can share your email IDs in the chat window. Okay, to register yourself, right? So that you'll get no information about how to register yourself, all those things. So every one of you come through Capital Info, or you refer from someone and you directly join here. So I get only email ID from Suman, Salman, and Sandhya. What about others? Anas. You have any questions? You can free to please free to interact. You can speak out. Any questions you have? Anas, may I know your background? I am seeing some name as Anas. May I know your background? What you're looking for? Whether you got it, what you're looking for in this session? Anas, Haji, okay, Jagdish, Parak.
Hi, Krishna. Hello.
Yeah, your name?
Yeah, Parag is here.
Parak.
Uh,
Oh, good.
yeah. So actually, I'm working in IT as a support. So basically, I worked on Salesforce support also. So
Great.
I'm looking for means like a change from support to development background. As
Great.
there is a shift in support, so I'm not comfortable in shifts right now. So getting some issues. So I would like to learn about some Salesforce development, and that's what I'm looking for actually.
Okay, okay, great. See, if you're in support,
Yeah.
what type of activities you will do?
Actually, I do like application support. Like there is a one project. They have application on Salesforce, and we have
No,
to.
whether you work on process builder, report, or what type of
Yes, yes.
activity?
We actually work on like a process builder, means kind of troubleshooting, like where the opportunity status is not showing, kind of like
Okay, okay.
not reflecting. We dig into SQL, and
Right, right.
we'll try to look into some snippet of
Oh,
triggers and codes, kind of.
right, right.
So it is
When
not
you,
like L2 kind of support, not proper L3 support, but
that's what. When you are going for a development role, each one of you, being strong in admin is more important because admin part will explain you what are the out of
Mhm.
box features we have in the platform. So that is more important. So to my knowledge, admin is more important than development. Development is all about learning the syntax. If you are good in admin, then when you provide any solution to a customer, then you'll be you'll have a complete knowledge which part of the solution is best, whether it's a admin or programming, whether I really need a programming uh, solution or without doing any programming, whether I can provide this solution. So to analyze on these both end, you should have good knowledge on admin. So you'll find a lot of new things in admin. So I suggest you to start from your admin course. Okay, so that is my suggestion, but it's up to your uh, decision.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sanjit.
Okay. Yeah. Anas, Anas, you have any question? Yes, Haji, you can speak out.
Okay,
Haji,
can
yeah.
you hear me now?
Yes, yes, Haji. Tell me.
Perfect. So my question is, I'm more into business analyst, and moving forward, the project is coming on Salesforce.
Great.
So they asked me to prepare on some Salesforce stuff from the BA point of view,
Great.
and uh, here you're training more on admin and development. My
Yes.
background never being in development at all. I was into call center and then switched to BA, and mostly expertise on AEM and site code, most on CMS platform. So this is quite new for me. So I need some suggestion from you, what this course and how this course will help me. So
Okay. See, when you say admin, I said like business analyst is also a part of this. Right. So when you go for a functional role, you would like your profile is basically facing the customer, facing the uh, involving into the sales, pre-sales, where you uh, get the new customer, right? You involve in such type of uh, request for proposal or whatever activities you are going to involve. That requires you to have a complete knowledge on admin part. Admin part is where you will find how to whether the how to understand how to what are the out of box features so that you can uh, know map these customer requirement, whether this right which part of the uh, Salesforce. Okay, so as part of this admin course, we'll also learn about Sales Cloud lifecycle. It means the functional part, right, where the life cycle where you'll understand the campaign, leads, accounts, contacts, opportunities. So how do you manage all those activities in the using this platform? So personally, I had an experience when I worked with Dell company. I had an experience interacting with selling the product and getting the new customers. So and I use the Salesforce CRM platform to manage all those sales activities. I believe this is what you are looking for. So you will right you understand all those things as part of this course. So the course is not just about the technical. The course will help you to understand the sales process and how the sales process can be automated using this platform. So whether to capture the enquiries from the site to CRM database, creating a report. So all those activities are end user activity, business analyst, the project manager, would like to create the report to know about to track the performance of the sales agents. So all those going to be a part of this admin course. So admin course is a course everywhere you go. It's a course you should take to play this role, whether it's a analyst role or it's a coordinator or end user, whatever. You should know about what is Salesforce product, what are the features available. So that's going to be uh, you know uh, that's going to be covered in this admin course. I suggest you to take admin course. Do you have any question, Ajay?
Yes, I do. Moving forward, we are going to come up with a few projects on Salesforce, but you said Salesforce Classic and Lightning,
Hmm.
but I believe there are some other thing which they call in Salesforce. I'm not sure.
Community cloud you're talking about?
CPQ something.
CPQ? Okay. CPQ,
Yeah,
a cost, yeah, it's a code cost, right? CPQ product where you manage all those pricings and codes, sending codes and all those things. That is a dedicated product. No, it's a specialized product developed in Salesforce. We do not have a trial version, but basically to understand, to learn about that product, you should have this admin knowledge. So when you have an admin knowledge, the CPQ product, before you take a course on CPQ, you should you should be proficient in admin part of the syllabus because when you are comfortable with the admin part, directly you can jump into CPQ. CPQ is all about how do you manage these cost, price, and codes. That's all. But before you
got
jump into it, you should have a knowledge on the admin part. If you have knowledge, you can catch up on your own. For CPQ, we don't have much scope in training perspective. But where
it.
right people who have got good knowledge on the admin, they uh, they get a scope to work on the CPQ, then they learn it. That's it. That's how it goes. If you like to take a dedicated CPU to know about the CPQ, first prerequisite is you should be an administrator.
Got it.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
it's not it cannot jump into CPQ product directly unless you have a knowledge on this.
Got it. Because I was just worried, how do you catch up with CPU and admin and development? So what is exactly process to go through it? Because
Yes,
the project is on
yes,
Salesforce, and then they're asking for different skill set, and then again we have to do
see,
the building a new
yeah,
application on this. And my job would be to gather a requirement and do the documentation and hand over those document to the developers. and
Exactly.
this is
So
how the
you
BA
need,
works, right? And
okay.
also client communication. So I need to know, what I need to talk to client and how exactly I can provide the best solution.
You are more into business, right? So,
Yes.
yeah. So you stop here. Okay. You start your admin and then you stop here. If you have like to know about the development framework, you can continue, or else you can stop from the admin part of the course. From there, you can explore the CPQ. Maybe CPQ, to learn about CPQ, I can share some videos so that you can learn later. But to start with CPQ, you should have a complete knowledge about sales life cycle. What are the standard objects available? What are the different features we have, like a process builder, visual flows. So all those knowledge are and mandatory to start your CPQ thing. Okay, so that will, because CPQ is basically developed in the Salesforce platform, right? So we are trying to understand what is Salesforce in this admin course. So you start with admin, you can stop here. Need not no
Perfect.
continue the development. You decide.
Perfect. And one more question from development point of
Mm,
view.
mm.
When you are giving a training towards sales for development, will you give a training on live project as well, or just
It's
the
going to be a live
understanding
project.
from the?
Yes, it's going to be a live project session. We are going to run. We are not going to run much slides here. We are just directly log into the platform and take a real-time scenarios and implement it as part of this
Perfect.
course.
Okay,
It's going to be real-time. Yes.
got it.
Okay.
So no
Right.
more question from my end as
Okay.
of now.
Okay. Right. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
No problem. So all of you shared your email IDs. If you have like to get notified, because they may change the link, right? We may change the link to connect the session tomorrow, so that, right, in case new link or this recorded things videos also you'll uh, get notified. Okay. I believe Suman, Salman, Saeed, Sandhya, yeah, okay, Jyoti. Okay. I think pretty much I got email ID from each one of you. Right. So no questions. Don't go away with the questions. So get clarified your questions. Whatever questions you have related to programming, please let me know. I'm happy to help you. App Exchange. Okay. See, App Exchange is quite simple, like your Apple Store, Google Store, right? The Salesforce has, it's nothing but a marketing place, right? Where you can find uh, Android application in the Google Store, isn't it? Similarly, App Exchange is a place where you can find the Salesforce pre-developed applications. So just a marketing place where you can download a pre-developed application. Got me? That's all. It's quite simple. appexchange.salesforce.com is a marketing place where you can download a paid and free applications. Got me? So anyone can develop application and deploy here, so that others can download and use that application. That's what App Exchange is. I given in the slide, right? That's what App Exchange is. Like nothing but like your Google Store for Android, App Store for your Play Store for Android, and okay, and we have right, and we have App Exchange for Salesforce. Is that clear? Did I clarify your question? Okay then. Apart from that, I hope you all got what is Salesforce. Salesforce is a web-based CRM platform, and it provides a development environment, right? And it's a CRM platform where you can store all the data and manage all those data. So as part of this course, we are going to learn about the development environment. We are going to learn about the Sales Cloud and Service Cloud product, right? As a business analyst, as a okay, as to involve in the business, to face the client, and you should know about the sales life cycle, right? And how those, what are the features we have to support the sales support process in the platform. So those things we are going to learn as part of this course. in general, right? In general, it helps you to convert your enquiries to customer with less effort. That's the main objective of any CRM product you take, right? It basically helps you to convert the lead in the sense enquiries to customer with less effort. You are not going to manage duplicate data. You are not going to call the customer repeatedly from different agents, right? We are going to have one place. We are going to store all data in one place, and every department of my company is going to refer one common page. That is your CRM. And when you say development environment, then you will find I can create a new table, I can customize the table, I can create a new interface by using the tools and programming features in the platform. Right. Okay. Thank you all. If you do not have any questions, you can end up. Okay. Hopefully, we'll connect tomorrow. Now we'll start the course. So all the best, and thanks. Thanks again. Bye.
Thanks, Ranjit.
Thanks.